you know, either younger than us or, you know, passed and retired. So why not? You know, I want to challenge myself. The best always looking to fight the best and challenge themselves, you know, and why not, you know, challenge.
Terence Crawford can't beat him, right? This is a money grab for Terence Crawford. It's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy.
But if you study Floyd closely, like I have, you will notice that he never wastes any steps while he's in the ring.
Terence Crawford made headlines when he accepted Floyd Mayweather's fight offer during a live interview with Stephen A. Smith. Crawford explained that boxing for him is all about pushing limits and facing tough challenges, no matter how big they are. He made it clear he believes the best should always fight the best, and he's ready to prove himself once again, calm and confident. Crawford sees a potential fight with Mayweather not as a show, but as another serious test of his skills and a chance to go beyond expectations.
Businessman, because this is Terence the businessman talking, right? They got to pay the cheddar to make it better, right?
For sure, for sure. All money ain't good money, so you got to know that.
Okay, fair enough. I hate to use the word easy, but at times it did feel like you were, you know, having a really easy time out there. Were you expecting it to play out that way?
Listen, it's never easy, you know.
Stephen A. Smith has never been shy when talking about sports, and boxing is no exception. He praised Terence Crawford for becoming a world champion in 4 different weight classes, something that doesn't happen often in today's boxing world. While most fighters avoid jumping weight classes because of the risks, Crawford did it and still dominated. Stephen A. pointed out that this kind of versatility shows Crawford is one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time. It's not just about size or strength. It's a skill, mental toughness, and constant drive to challenge himself that make him stand out.
He's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab. He used his distance. He had poise in the ring. He wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr., who knows exactly what it takes to succeed across weight divisions, had high praise for Crawford's talent. He highlighted Crawford's performance against Canelo Alvarez, saying it showed a mix of strategies borrowed from Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara, both of whom gave Canelo trouble in the past. Jones explained that what sets Crawford apart is how he studies other fighters, learns from them, and then makes those techniques his own. He doesn't just copy, he adapts. That ability to adjust his style in real time puts him on another level, especially compared to fighters who stick to one way of fighting and get exposed by top-level opponents.
As Canelo Alvarez has been a great fighter his whole career, people like Erislandy Lara gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. People like Floyd Mayweather also gave you the blueprint on how to beat him. But Bud is more fierce, more fearsome, and more angrier and more meaner than both of those guys. So you know if they showed you the blueprint, Bud gonna go out there, take that blueprint and do even more with it, which is what Bud did. So it was never a question in my mind whether Bud really was going to outbox me, just if he could take the punch. And right away he showed, bam, he could take the punch. So I know from that point, if he just slow him down, which he did, he'd be okay. Then late in the fight, what other people still didn't see, late in the fight, Bud started hitting Canelo's body. One of those body shots, I think about the 7th or 8th round, hurt Canelo. I was like, whoa. Bud hit him in the right spot then, and he got Canelo's respect with that too. So Bud fought a very, very awesome fight, fought a beautiful fight, very tactical.
Very controlled.
Yes, it was a beautiful fight for boxing.
It was a beautiful fight. You know, Bud got hit with some shots.
He did. He did.
He got hit with some single shots going out. You know, he's going out and you know Canelo, if he has you trapped in the corner or along the ropes, it's typically 1 to 2 big shots. You know that if you've watched him.
Yep.
So you could tell Crawford, as he was going out, he knew the one shot was coming, and several times it landed. He even got hit with a two-piece. I don't remember what round it was, uppercut right hand that Crawford took well. So when you started seeing him absorb the shots, if you're Team Crawford, you don't want him to take that shot. But if you started seeing that, now you know that, okay. And I think that's what gave Crawford the green light to stay there a little bit longer.
He smiled about it.
He smiled about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that smile can be a lie. And sometimes that smile can mean what I think it meant for Crawford, which is, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
The idea of Crawford stepping into the ring with Floyd Mayweather, even just for an exhibition match, has sparked a lot of debate. Some critics feel it could hurt Crawford's legacy. They argue that after major wins like his total domination of Errol Spence and outboxing Canelo Alvarez, chasing a money-driven fight with Mayweather might send the wrong message. They see it as a move toward cash rather than competition. Mayweather, after all, has focused on big money exhibitions in recent years instead of true legacy fights. Still, others believe Crawford's legacy is already secure. For them, a fight with Mayweather wouldn't damage his record. It would simply be another exciting chapter in an already historic career.
For Terence Crawford, it's just a situation where Terence Crawford is trying to fill up his bank account opposed to actually his legacy. This is what was being said, right? This is what people perceived. Terence Crawford was just attempting to.
When fans talk about the careers of Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford, it's never a simple conversation. Mayweather's resume includes wins over some of boxing's biggest names. But critics say the timing of those fights mattered. Canelo was still young and green, and Manny Pacquiao was injured during their long-awaited 2015 fight. Plus, Floyd often avoided rematches, especially with Pacquiao, which left some fans unsatisfied. On the other hand, Crawford has beaten opponents who were considered in their prime when they fought him. That difference fuels ongoing debates about whether Floyd's undefeated record came more from raw talent or from smart timing and matchmaking.
Floyd Mayweather is still greater than Terence Crawford. We need to really talk about this now. A lot of you guys are putting Crawford a bit too high. If you want to say Crawford could beat Floyd, I'm more open to that conversation. But when you're lining up the careers, I'm going to say Floyd every time. While they're both 5 division, Bud has become 3-time undisputed, but he's only fought 10 world champions to Floyd's 25 world champions. You can't take away the 5 division, 3-time undisputed. In terms of accolades, yeah, he probably gets the nod over Floyd. I say their accolades are about relative, considering Floyd Mayweather won Fighter of the Decade as well. But when you get to the resumes, Pacquiao, Oscar, Canelo, Cotto, Mosley, Castillo, Marquez, Zab, Gotti, Hatton, and Corley. There's probably way more people that this guy just didn't name. And then when you get to Bud's resume, not saying it's just bad, but the only names that's really worth mentioning is going to be Spence and Canelo. It's not a knock on Bud. Bud was not able to make those fights early on in his career. But I got to tell you guys what it is. Bud's resume just doesn't line up with Floyd's. Take their top 20 wins. Bud don't even got 20 wins to really sit here and name. Floyd got a good 20-something plus. Bud probably got about 10 wins that we could really sit here and name. Floyd's still greater than Bud, in my opinion.
Boxing analyst Tony Jeffries believes that Mayweather's biggest strength wasn't just his defense or speed. It was his mindset. Jeffries explained that Floyd had total belief in himself. Even in tough matchups, he always trusted his boxing IQ to guide him through. Mayweather had a rare ability to read opponents, adapt quickly, and stay cool under pressure. According to Jeffries, this mental toughness, combined with his technical skills, is what made Floyd so difficult to beat. It's a big reason why he was able to retire.
Strong mindset, they're really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're going to lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete, or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace, and this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of...
Boxing fans are always looking for exciting matchups, and one of the most talked about potential fights right now is Terence Crawford versus David Benavidez. Benavidez brings serious size, power, and non-stop pressure, traits that would challenge even a fighter as skilled as Crawford. For many fans, this is exactly the kind of high-risk, high-reward fight they want to see, something that pushes Crawford even further. While nothing has been made official yet, the buzz around this matchup shows what fans really want. Real legacy fights, not just money-driven exhibitions. Crawford versus Benavidez would be a true test of skill versus power, and many believe it could be a modern classic.
But shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majamov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion, undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Bud Crawford. And that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch arm. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7", with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182, maybe 185 max, right? He's not a big guy, right?
When people compare Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford, there's no clear answer. Both men fought and beat top opponents in their own eras. Floyd was known for his perfect record and near-flawless defense. Crawford has shown he can move up in weight and still dominate, which is just as impressive. The challenge in comparing them is that they fought under different conditions at different times and against different types of opponents. While it may never be possible to say who's better, what's clear is that both represent the peak of excellence in boxing history.
Oh my goodness, I said that was going to happen. If Crawford was to win, we're going to be seeing a lot of these debates on whether or not Floyd Mayweather or Terence Crawford is going to be better. Now, this is going to be a debate for a long, long time. I'm talking about one of those debates like LeBron versus MJ, Messi versus Ronaldo. It's one of those. And the thing is, I can get behind it. Let me go ahead and say this. When it comes to resume, I do think we give Floyd Mayweather the edge. I mean, he beat a bunch of champions. He reigned for a long time. While Crawford, His resume is heavily criticized, and he's just now getting, his kind of respect for beating Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez. But if we're talking strictly off of skills, this is where things get really, really tough to talk about. I think a fair assessment of this matchup would be Floyd Mayweather wins from 135 and 140, while Crawford wins from 147 to 154. And I say that because I feel like Floyd's style changed once he got to welterweight. He became a more defensive fighter, and he just wasn't as much focused on offense. And knowing this, I feel like Crawford would have had a much better chance of handling him. And we all know, Crawford was an absolute monster at welterweight. But hey, man, like I said, this is going to be a debate for a very long time. I can't wait to hear all the talk about it. But I'm curious on your thoughts. Who do you think wins in the fight, Floyd or Terence Crawford? Let's talk about it, and follow me for more boxing talk.
Trainer Greg Hackett summed up the meaning of Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez in a powerful way. He reminded everyone that Canelo had been seen as the best boxer in the world for over a decade. That's what made Crawford's victory so important. He didn't just win. He took control and broke down a fighter many thought was nearly unbeatable. Hackett said this wasn't just a big win for Crawford. It was a shift in power. Crawford became the new top dog in the sport, the one others now fear. That fight didn't just boost his record. It changed how people see the entire landscape of boxing.
And I think Crawford displayed his skill enough, even to someone with not the most trained eye, that they know they saw a very high-level athlete perform something at a very high level last night. I think he gained the sports world's attention last night and respect. He already did after Spence, but it went to another level in this fight.
And I think even the fight itself, like just from a median level, but then the moments where they were having these exchanges, like kind of late in the fight, then people were like, all right, it was good. Then like, okay, I saw somebody like, they're squabbing. Like, there's a fight here. So I think it did.
And Crawford closed the show.
Yeah.
In 10, 11, 12, he stood in there and landed some hard shots and rocked Canelo at the bell. He didn't. Well, James was talking about the great Floyd Mayweather. Floyd would go up on you 8-0 and then coast, and you might as well turn the fight off at midway through the ninth. Like, he's not going to. But
that wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates.